Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media Live. I am so happy to be here this evening, and you are in for a treat. I can't wait to introduce my guests. So sit tight and let's get this party started. So tonight I am happy to bring to you Adeyinka. Oh, let me get it right. Adeyinka Kilani, who is a six-time Amazon International best-selling author, speaker, intercessor, and geospatial analyst, with a sincere gift for both initiating and maintaining success amongst compassionate trailblazers looking to change their world for the better. Adeyinka's mantra is clear. She is inspired by female leaders making giant strides in their chosen fields. Adeyinka has shown years of impressive proficiency in providing secure resolutions for a myriad of environmental infrastructures through the rare acquisition and navigation of geospatial data. She earned her bachelor's in geography and planning from the University of Lagos, Nigeria, and a master's in geographic information systems. She makes up one of more than 40% of exceptional women at work in the GIS field. When Adeyinka is not out blazing paths in unconventional leadership, she remains an asset to her local community and a cherished member of her family. So welcome, Yinka. I am so happy that you're here with us. And she is here to talk about her new book. What's that title?
When your promise comes with a but. Thank you so much for having me, Ida.
Yes, yes, indeed. My pleasure. My pleasure. So, talk about your field. You're probably the only female that I have ever met that does what you do.
We're few, but there are other females that do it as well. So,
I don't know. I just know you.
I always loved geography. It was was one subject that I enjoyed. When all the while I was in school, so it was just natural that I went to study it in uni, and since I got out of the university, that's all I've ever done. I've always worked with maps, and it's been an amazing journey.
Yeah, so what do you actually do with maps? Do you create maps?
Yes, I create maps.
Wow.
So what happens is I work with a lot of specialists. I work with biologists, ecologists, archaeologists, people that are estate management people. And so they bring data to me that has special X and Y coordinates, and I produce maps out of them.
Wow. That sounds like a tedious job.
It's not actually. It's actually. I mean, there's software that do all the major work for you, but then you've got
Okay.
to know where to go.
Yes, exactly. You definitely got to know something.
Yes.
Because I remember the days of the maps, and I'm like, oh my God, I was so happy when they came out with GPS.
I
But
know.
I am not a great map reader tell the least. I'd be like, oh my God, what is this? But it's a good skill to have.
It is actually. I mean, it's always been, I don't think I've ever been out of work since my uni days.
I'm sure you have.
Yes.
Because there's always new roads. There's
Yes. And
always
because,
new.
everything is now computerized, it's made it all the more, it's made it a needed skill. The way, if you just use an example of Google Maps, because they keep having to update it. There's new roads being constructed, there's new
Mhm.
buildings, and somebody has to keep an eye on that, to actually update it. So,
Yes, absolutely. Otherwise, we'd be all getting lost.
yes, yes.
For
So it's a
sure.
very good and it's a very good field to be in.
Yes, I'll say, because it's never going to stop as
Yes,
long as they continue to build and create new roads. We're going to need new maps
yes, you do.
for sure. Wow.
And the thing about it is that it's not just buildings and roads. I mean, that you can map anything. Like you could get plants, you could get notable plants, birds, all sorts. You could literally apply it in anywhere. You could use it to look for locations. They actually use the software. I mean, they use the skill for allocating hospitals, schools. You can actually find out where there's scarcity, and
Mhm.
that like forms on the background for utility mapping. It's endless.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's definitely important because you want to make sure, especially new construction, they need to know where the
Yes,
underground stuff is. And we've all seen the horror stories when they get it wrong.
exactly, exactly.
For sure. So, Yinka, let's talk about your new book. I am so proud of you. I know you have been in so many anthologies, which I have supported you over the years. And now you have your own publication. So,
Yes,
congratulations.
thank you.
So, tell us a little bit about what people can expect in this book.
Yes, so my book is actually titled "When Your Promise Comes with a Bot," and I actually got the inspiration to write it. I mean, maybe like maybe like 5 years ago. It might even be a little bit longer, but I actually wanted to just I'd always felt God wanted me to share my testimony because it was a journey that I had to go through. So what happened was, because I suffered from polycystic ovaries. I had issues with conceiving, and so I'd always prayed about. I mean, ever since I was young, was when I knew that having a child will be a problem, and that was since when I started praying about it. So I prayed so hard about it. Eventually, I met my husband and we got married, and we still continued praying. I think we waited almost 5 years in the marriage before we finally had our son. But you know what? God had promised me that child just maybe like 7 years before I even met my husband or something like that. So I'd always believed that, when I eventually got pregnant, it was like the best thing that could ever happen to me. My faith was, I literally used to tell everybody that God is amazing. And then all of a sudden, just when he was about to turn 3, I get the diagnosis that he was autistic, and that almost broke me. That
Mm,
affected me so much that, and along the line, I also got diagnosed with MS, and so I struggle to believe that there's a God out there. I
mm,
struggled to actually accept that that even the God out there was good, because I was like, look, I prayed too hard for this thing to happen. I trusted you for so many years to have this child, and I couldn't relate it. I kept telling myself, why would God allow me, have a child, and then eventually the child has special needs? And so I had to go through a journey of coming to a place of acceptance. And when I actually got to that place that I realized that God was still good, that even in all my challenges, even with all my health challenges, that God is still God. It doesn't make him any less. And then I got to that stage where God told me, he said, look, you need to share your testimonies, because I want people to know that even when they go through dark seasons, I don't leave them. That that the challenges that they're facing didn't come to me by surprise. So you need to tell people about your journey and encourage them that, look, even when we go through supposedly bad things, or when our promise comes and it doesn't look like what we prayed for, that we can still trust God. And so that was the beginning of my journey with where your promise comes to the butt.
you wow. And that's a really true thing, to
Yes,
pray for something and get it and it not be exactly what you prayed for.
yes. You think it's not,
Yes.
but the idea is for you to get to a place where you know that God is good, that even though that thing doesn't look like what you want, what you expected, we have to just continue to hold on to Him, because He says all things are going to work out for our good.
Yes.
And so that has been my, even that has been the scripture I base my journey with my son on. I keep telling God, I said, look, because this thing catch you by surprise, I know
Mm-hmm.
that you've made a way out for me. And I just trust him for every journey I've been through with my son. And that's what I want to talk about in my book.
Yes, and I think it's going to help a lot of people that are going through different things that they
Yes.
have no control of, and they feel like God is not there, and He's always there. But
Yes.
if we don't go through things, what we have to realize, if we don't go through things, we won't be calling on Him.
Exactly. Exactly. It's an opportunity to explore more in God, because now that when I look back at my life, I mean, I could actually, I can tell anybody anywhere that even those times that I did not think God was with me, He was there. When when you're able to think back to all the supposedly bad moments, I can actually look back now. I'm like, wow, God really did show up for me, even though at that time I did not know it was God.
Yes, yes. And sometimes why me? Why me? And I
Exactly.
think we've all said that
Yes, you
at some.
drown in that. Oh, how could God allow this? Why me? What did I do wrong? And but honestly speaking, it's not, you did not do anything wrong.
Mhm.
It's just the way life is.
Yes,
And even the Bible tells us from the beginning that we will have many tribulations. And
yeah,
so that should actually get you to be in a state of mind of, okay, God, I'm just going to trust you even on this journey.
yes, yes. And you have to trust because
Yes,
uh it's just you have no control,
exactly.
number one, and you have to trust in a higher power
Exactly.
because we all know as humans we are share the trials and tribulations. We just don't always know what they're going to be. They're different for everybody, but then they're the same. If you know what I mean, it's
Very
like
true. Yes.
a tribulation is not something that feels good ever for anybody. And you go through this thing, it's a process. In the beginning, it's like, why me? What did I do? And then you have to get to that next level where, Lord, I know this wouldn't be happening if there wasn't a reason why.
Yes. And then when you get to that place where you know that God is still good, even in that your supposedly bad situation, it helps you manage it. It helps you go through all the daily issues that come up. So there'll be days when you'll be sad, there'll be days when you will cry, but you always get up again because you know that, what, God is still there. God is still God, and then the strength comes.
Yes,
Strength
yes,
always comes.
absolutely. We got a shout out. Okay. I feel so tremendously blessed. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for sure. Because, I mean, this is so timely, Adeyinka, because it's so many people out there questioning
Yes,
God's love for us because of what might be going on in their life, and in their pain, they can't see the forest for the trees, so to speak.
exactly.
Yeah. So when is this book coming out?
On the 22nd of March, Friday, the 22nd of March.
Okay. Okay. And the where will people be able to get it when it comes out?
They'll be available on Amazon, and they'll probably be on well, first of all on Amazon, because I have a PayHip account where all my books are. So they will
Mhm.
also be able to get it from there as well if they want a signed copy from me.
Okay. Okay. So make sure at the end of this that you put that post as to where they can
Yes,
get the books.
yes. I'll
Yes.
definitely do that.
So how old is your son now?
Oh, my baby is 16.
Wow. And let me ask you this, because like you, did he go through the same kind of feelings that you went through?
Yeah, that is a bit difficult for me because my son is nonverbal, so he's not
Okay.
able to. I mean, we're just learning, the sign language and the use of pegs with him and all that. But I'm kind of still on that journey with God.
Okay.
I am still believing that, even if this is communication is ICT based, I'm open to God working out a miracle in that area. So we're still on the journey, and I will keep you updated.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And your husband, because when things happen,
Yes,
especially in the family unit, everybody is involved.
yes, yes.
Everybody's involved.
And
So,
it's a challenge because I mean I really bless God for my husband because he I mean right from the beginning of our journey, he'd always said to me, "Look, Yinka, I know that you're my wife, and we're gonna get through everything together. So it's been a very long journey for us. We've had times where it looked like everything was gonna collapse, but it didn't. So we've both been. He'll probably have another way of telling the story as a dad, but I think because I actually, because I pray about everything. you know,
yeah,
he's the practical person. He's always like, look, what do we need to do to help the boy? And he's very, very practical. And he's always like, look, let's look for, he's always, yes, let's put this into this. If this doesn't work, this plan B. But I'm a little bit on the, oh, I need to hear from God kind of person. So
yeah,
let me
I'm
do
with you.
anything. I literally tell him, I say, okay, let me go and pray about it. And he doesn't quite get that. He's always like, you can't, what's there to pray about? This is God. So, but, the thing about it's helped me because he's kind of the areas where I am not strong in, he's very strong in. And the areas he's weak in, I am very strong in. So that has helped us a lot because, the fact that I pray about everything, he finds it amusing, but then it works. He comes back to say, "Oh, Inka, it was a good thing you prayed about it," and then we kind of manage each other's deficiencies very well.
Yes, yes. I don't blame you. I pray about everything too, down
Yeah,
to the smallest thing.
I know. I
I
literally,
can be like days I can't find my glasses. That's a huge issue when I can't find my
yes,
glasses.
yes,
And I'll be like, Lord, I know you know where my glasses are. And I kid you not, I walk right to them.
yes,
So I've learned
yes,
that God can answer the smallest to the largest.
exactly. And that's where God wants us to get to. Because he's all about relationship with us. He
Yeah.
wants to be involved in every area of our lives. So now, even for the small things I go to God for. Like I wouldn't change my son's school if I haven't prayed so hard about it. And that's the area my husband is different from me. My husband will look at Ofsted report, he will read all the things about this school. But I'm like, you know what? I feel God wants him to go there. And that's the reason I have, I don't have any other reason.
Right, right. And that's the most trusting. God. Who
Yes,
else you gonna trust? God
yes,
never
yes.
makes a mistake.
And that's where he wants every one of us to
Hmm.
trust him on every journey that we embark on. Even the simple things. One of the things I write about in the book is, how I came to that place of realizing God was interested in even the activities I do with my son during the holidays. Because for a long time I used to do all the neurotypical things with him, all the things other kids enjoyed, and he was always upset. My son was always getting so upset with it, because he couldn't cope with the noise. He couldn't cope with, he wasn't enjoying the things other kids enjoyed. And so it took me a while to come to that place of, okay, God, the summer holidays coming. What do I do with this boy? I mean, what kind of activities should I engage him in? And that was the time we started enjoying, you know, activities because I just knew that I couldn't. I got to a place where I would hear God say, "Why didn't you ask me before taking him there?" And
Right.
I'm like, okay, God, I did not think those kind of things would interest you. But I found out that he wants to be the one revealing what to do with my son to me.
Yes.
Was when I started listening to him that we started to do the horse riding that my son absolutely loves. He absolutely loves being on a farm. And that was how we just used to just plan our daily activities. That was how come I said, okay, you know what? I'll literally hear, oh, try this, try that. And when I tried, I mean, my son would enjoy it so much. And so that was like another chapter in my life.
Mm-hmm.
God with everything. I would when I want to start a new therapy with him, because we've done a lot of things, a lot of adjustments on his diet because of you had all sorts of issues with sleep. So as much as I'm trusting medical science, I'm also taking it to God. I'm asking
Yes.
God, how do I handle this? God, how do I? What's the next step? And then He always shows up for me.
Oh yeah, and as long as you ask, he always
Yes,
gonna show up.
yes, He
He
always
definitely
shows up for me.
always gonna show up. We got quite a few shout outs, my dear. You are a strong daughter of God. Yes, you are. Yes, you
Thank
are.
you.
And who else do we have? Praying about everything is the best. Yes, it
Yes,
is. You and
yes,
every day I wake up thanking God. I woke up first of all,
I know.
thanking God my mind is intact. Thank you for that.
Yes,
And what we gonna do today, Lord? And
yes,
that's the next thing because by myself I'm a total mess.
yeah,
And I've tested it. So I know it's true. If I take things in my own hands, it's always a mess. Always. When I
yes,
say, Lord, can you please help me with this? Because I really don't know how to deal with this.
that's
And
it.
and it seems to work perfectly without me even looking for anything else. It just
Exactly.
kind of drops in my lap.
Yeah, that's the God we serve.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Wow, I am so happy to talk to you today, Yinka, because you never know, like the day you go through, and then you talk to somebody that just brings you joy. Because my day was crazy, to say the least. We was talking earlier.
Yeah,
I'm a caregiver now, among other things, and that's a difficult road.
it is. It is.
And going through that, I was getting angry. A lot of different emotions was coming up because
Yes,
I was getting angry and just a lot of emotions. And then I started praying to God to help me through it, help me stay calm, help me stay at peace, and just do what I need to do.
yes,
And
yes.
it's just I can't do it by myself. And guess what? I
None
really
of
don't.
us can.
I don't even want to.
Yes,
It feels good to give it to God because then I can give it to
yes,
God and let it be, and
yes.
then He'll just guide me to the way I need to go. So
That's it.
yes, so anybody out there struggling with anything, why? You really don't have no answers.
Yeah, yeah. And the earlier we realize that, the better for us.
Yes, the better off you're gonna be, the more peace you're
Yes.
gonna have, because at the end of the day, you have no control
No, no,
anyhow.
no. We do not. We do not, but we think we do.
Yes, we do. And I mean, it took me a minute to understand that I don't have control of nothing.
Yes.
And of course, I had to fall on my face a couple of times to realize at the end of the day, you don't have control.
Yes, we need to get to that place.
Yes. I wish I'd have got there a lot quicker than I did. I could have got, shield myself from a whole bunch of stuff, but I
Yes.
have arrived and I'm sticking to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. It could take us forever, but God is always chasing after us.
Yes.
He's Oh, that really blows my mind when I think about it. Because I mean, I know that in the early days when I just got my son's diagnosis, I couldn't I don't think I prayed for a while because I got to that place where I thought, there can't be a God if this can be happening to me. And
Mm-hmm.
by the time I got diagnosed with MS, honestly speaking, I think for the first couple of years of my diagnosis, I'm not sure I prayed because I could not relate with it too. I kept telling God, I don't understand this. Are you there? Do you even exist? But I found out that even in those days of our doubting, you know, He never leaves us.
No.
Even when we are overwhelmed and we think, oh my God, I don't want to have anything to do with this God. He will still be putting certain things in motion for us, things to make our lives a little bit easier, And then if so long as I think community is what really helped me, I honestly don't think I would have made it if I did not have a community of people that had my back,
Oh
And
yeah.
even when I have days of being completely frustrated, I'll have somebody call me, Inka, how you doing? I felt led to pray with you today. And I would go back and I would say, God, thank you for that, because I
Right.
got into that place where I couldn't really pray anymore. But
Yes.
then, I think all that time God was helping me build muscles because I mean now, I've gotten to that place where even when things go badly with my son, when like service, maybe because we've had issues with all sorts of therapies, and when I mean the number of schools my son has been to, honestly, you'd be amazed. There was a season where every school he went to always came back and said, oh sorry, we can't cope. Oh sorry, we can't cope. Oh sorry, we can't cope. But
Mm.
fortunately for me, by the time that was happening, I had really connected with God. So I always used to just tell myself, I'm like, you know what, God, it means that this is not our school. So the fact that they're saying that they cannot cope, I was able to say, okay, God, I'm going to trust you on this journey. And I'm going to trust you to find a good place for my son where he would flourish and be loved. Because another thing it was I had a lot of fear. I kept thinking to myself, my God, how is my son going to cope? I'd always worry about about him being bullied. And
Mm-hmm.
but I got to God actually worked on me to the extent that I could trust him that, okay, God, I mean, when I now he's in a residential school, and that was very hard for me to accept because I kept worrying and panicking. I kept thinking, oh my God, you know, I liked it when he was always coming home after school,
Mm-hmm.
where I could be there. I mean, if he had any scratch or any little thing, I could see it on the day it happened. So the fact that to get to a place where I wouldn't see him daily, it took me a while to get to a place of trusting God. And for a long time, I really fought the idea of him not living at home. But we were starting to struggle because obviously he was growing and things were getting more difficult to manage for us. And I kept on saying, oh, I don't think I can handle him not living at home. I don't think I can handle him not living at home. But when we started struggling with the schools and everything, I heard God tell me, He said, look, Inka, you're gonna have to trust me here. That even when he's with you, I'm the one taking care of him.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to now, I was like, okay, God, I'm going to trust you here. And so I will let you choose the school for him. I will just, sit back and obey you. And
Yeah.
that was what God did, honestly speaking. The school my son is, I know it was handpicked by God. because he's flourishing there, you know. And when
Mhm.
I go visit him, we have an amazing time. When he comes on a holiday, we have an amazing time. And both of us have matured with it because in the first couple of maybe months that he was there, oh, he struggled because he really struggled. And I
Mhm.
also struggled, you know, but
Yeah.
now we're in such a good place now that now I look back and I'm like, oh God, thank you, you know, and I'm grateful to him, like even
Yeah.
though I can see it, but now when I look back, I could see his hand moving putting all the puzzles together for us, you know. So
Mhm.
I just want to just encourage everybody that look, that promise, even though it doesn't look like what you want, what you expected, what you prayed about, God is still working out good from it.
Oh yeah, always,
Yes,
always. And once we believe, it takes a load off.
it does. It
It takes
does.
a huge load off.
It does.
And then we have to be one of the things we have to be very careful about is taking it back. Because
Yeah.
sometimes we give it to God and then we want to take it back.
No,
And
but you know, we're humans. I mean, that will always happen.
yeah.
It's just that you have to be conscious of it, so that when
Hmm.
you start to take it back from the Lord, you're like, "Oh my God, Lord, I'm starting to worry again. I'm starting to take I'm starting to," and then you can just release it to Him again and say, "Lord, I'm sorry." I hand it back to you.
Right, here you go. I didn't mean to
Yeah.
take it back. So again, the title of the book and when it's coming out.
Yes, the title of the book is "When Your Promise Comes with a Bot." And the release date is 22nd of March, Friday, the 22nd of March. I'm hoping to have a virtual launch so
Okay.
that I'll invite you, and I'll make sure I put all the details of the launch. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. I am so proud of you, Yinka, because
thank
you
you.
have done how many anthologies have you been in?
Oh, I think I've been in 8.
Yes. Yes. And now you're doing your solo. And I
Yes,
am so
yes,
proud. And I know, and the work that you're doing is so important because there is definitely somebody's, I ain't even
yes.
gonna say somebody, but somebody's out there that need to read this.
Yes. And that was why I started to write actually. Because initially I kept on telling God, oh, I don't think I can put my business out there. But I realized that that's what the Lord wanted. He wanted me to put my business out there. That look, this is how messy things were for me. But God was able to sort me out. In fact, this March is going to be a very special month for me because I have another anthology, Abba's Daughter, that is coming out on the 8th of March. And
Oh,
that
okay.
one, that is actually another one that God specifically instructed me to write in because I had already started working on my solo book. So I was like, oh, do I think I could fit it in? And I literally heard the Lord say, yes, you can fit it in, So and in that word, I talk about my journey with the MS. Because the idea of the book is actually Abba's daughters, everyday women, extraordinary God. And so we're supposed to talk, to pick a woman in the Bible that we most resonate with. And for me, it was the woman with the issue of blood. Do you know we none of us knew her name. We only knew her issue.
Hmm.
And that struck me because I kept on thinking to myself, she literally lost her identity because of her problem. And that was what was happening to me when I got diagnosed with MS. The MS just took over my life. But now, I got to a place where I knew that He still had my back, even in the MS. And so I
Hmm.
decided to write in Abba's Daughters and talk about that side of my life. So Abba's Daughter launches on the 8th of March, and my solo book launches on the 22nd of March.
Okay, well, definitely. I'm sure I'll be seeing the buzz
Yes, you
around
will.
Facebook and all the different social medias on
Yes,
that. And
yes.
I'm gonna be the first one to pick that book up, Nika, because I am. You have been. I mean, you've been in my magazine,
And
and I'll be
yes,
reading your stuff and some of the inspirational things that you write about. It's just amazing, and you're a very uplifting person.
I try to be.
very uplifting. And you are making a difference. You are definitely making a difference.
Yeah, bless God for that.
Yes, yes, and I appreciate you
Thank you.
wholeheartedly, and I'm
And we're
glad.
going to have an amazing journey together now that I'm part of your team.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And I just want to do a shout out to Dawn who
Yes,
connected us.
yes, yes. Don has actually been part of my all the I mean so many of the books I've written in, she's so she's quite significant in my writing journey.
She's significant in everybody's life
Yes.
because she's connected so many people
Yes. Yes.
through what she does. It
Yes.
has been an amazing journey with her, and
Yeah.
I would have never met you if it had not been her.
Yeah. And then finally free. She's right, she's gonna do finally free three now, So
I can't wait. I
yeah.
can't wait.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm hoping to write in that one as well.
yes, yes. Well, you definitely have a testimony, and your
Yes.
writing is what you're doing is so important because people are hurting and they're silently hurting
Yes. Yes.
and they're in a shame situation. All kinds of things are going on with people, and they need to understand that there's nothing on this earth that's new.
Yes.
If it's
Yes.
happening to you, it has happened to somebody else.
That's the story, and then I the more I talk about how I came out of all these things, the more I can actually encourage everyone else. And look, even though I had periods when with my MS diagnosis, I've had periods where my health was down there. I've had periods where I couldn't walk. I've had periods where I lost the use of one hand. I've had periods where I couldn't see in one eye. But God brought me out of everything, and that
Mm.
story, I try to just tell people now when I go to my MS support group, and I talk to people that their MS is really bad. I'm like, look, I know it looks bad now, but our body, our brain has an amazing capacity to heal itself.
Yes.
And I also make sure I emphasize that advances in medical science is God's intervention on our behalf.
Yes. Yes.
People that look the fact that you have to be on because I now, I struggled when I was going to start treatment for my MS because I struggled to accept that because I prayed so hard to be healed of it. I prayed to be cured. I wanted MS to be gone out of my body. And when that didn't happen, I struggled. I was like, okay, God, look at all the healing. When you read all the healing miracles in the Bible, like,
Yes.
God, you're able to heal me. Why are you not healing me? But then I got to a place where, you know, God said, look, what you're asking for is a cure, but I am healing you. I'm making you whole, even in the midst of that storm of the MS. And so that's what I tell people now. When I meet people that have MS, I always tell them, I said, look, it looks bad now, but you're not going to always remain like this. You're going to get better. You're going to get better. Use all the resources available. If you're going to go on the meds, go on the meds. And there's so many alternative therapies out there that we can participate in and get. And I said, look, don't feel guilty because for a long time I felt guilty. I was like, oh God, is it, should I stop praying for healing? Or what do I do? And I got to a place where God said, look, just trust me, and start the medication, and just let's, and now I look back. I started treatment in 2018, and it was amazing that the way the meds have helped me. So I was feeling like, oh my God, I wish I had done this, years before,
Right.
But I think God he needed me to get to that place where I could believe him that even with the MS, he had my back. So I don't feel like, okay, God, because you did not take it away, that means you do not love me. So, I love you. I love you even with the MS, so
Absolutely. And that's where that trust comes in,
yes,
because at the end of the day, you have to trust.
yes,
And it's important that, because if we try to bear all of that alone, we're going to have whatever we got plus
yeah,
some other issues,
yes,
because we trying to bear too much.
yes. And
So,
the silence is even worse because
yes.
you get to a place where you can't even talk about it because there's a bit of shame in it. You start to wonder, okay, God, where did I go wrong? But I mean, God is He doesn't punish us like that. He's not that kind of father. He's not going to say, I afflict you with MS because of what you did.
Yeah, everything happens for a positive reason.
Yes, yes,
Though in the time when it happens, you don't see all of that.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't really see it until you walk through it and
yes.
look back.
Exactly. And that's what I tell people. I said, look, I've gone through the fire and now I've come out shining as gold. I've come out now and I can tell anybody anywhere that God always shows up.
Yeah.
Now when I have a relapse, because I had a relapse even as early as I had a relapse last year in June. And because I was on the medication, I was very religious about all the things I was meant to be doing, and I still had a relapse that took, I had optic neuritis and I didn't see in one eye for a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
And but then I always, I didn't panic anymore because I knew that MS had done a lot worse for me, and God brought me out. So
Mm-hmm.
even at that time, I was telling myself, I was like, look, Yinka, you've gone through worse and you came out. So don't doubt God now. You need to keep holding on to Him.
Yes.
Speaking. The same way I woke up and my vision had disappeared, I literally woke up a couple of months later, and the vision had come back. So now I'm like, look, God, I'm just going to go with you all the way now. Anything that is going on in my physical body, our body parts, He created us,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
to replace any part that is not functioning well. But you need to get to that place where you trust Him you know,
A
and
100%. Not
exactly, now I'm
50.
like, okay, God, this is happening to me. Now I have a lot of cognitive issues. I mean, at work, I'm really struggling with a lot of things. But I always look back. I go back and I tell God, I don't know how I'm going to navigate this, but I need your help. And so I ask for His help, even on my daily activities. I'm like, okay, how am I going to navigate this? How am I going, and because I have examples of Him showing up for me in the past, I'm like, you've done it before, so I know you can do it again.
Oh,
And
yeah.
He
Oh,
always shows
yeah.
up. He always shows up.
Always. He never leaves. I haven't seen him leave me hanging one time. I can
Yes.
name a few people that have.
Yes. Yes.
So yes, so I can't wait for this book to come out. I can feel the energy that you're projecting just talking about this book.
Yeah.
So I
Something
know
I'm
it's
very
going to be.
passionate about, actually.
I know you are. I can tell. So the book comes out March 22nd, and ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see it on social media. I'm going to be sharing it. So you'll be able to see when, if you forget, you're going to see plenty of stuff about this book.
Yes.
And Yinko, again, the title of the book,
When your promise comes with a but.
I like that title.
Yeah.
I like that
I
title.
love it. It's been in my head for God knows how many years until I took paper and I started writing. And then God was just like, okay, talk about this. Okay, talk about this. Okay, talk about this.
So that's you and God right
Yeah.
there. So thank you so much. Yinka is joining us all the way from London. What time is it there? Like it's Thursday there now.
I know. Yes, it is Thursday. almost 1 a.m. here.
Yes, but we just been vibing. It's like it's no time,
I
because
know.
we're talking about the Lord and all of the things that He has done for us and
Yes.
continues to do. So I appreciate you, Yinka, and I am looking forward to more collaborations and
Yes.
following you in everything that you do. So,
Thank you very much.
so
I'm
thank
so
you.
excited.
I know I'm excited for you. This is definitely when I saw that show up on Facebook, I was like, oh my God. I was like, hallelujah, that is going to be awesome. So we have thank you audience because we could probably sit here all night talking, and because when you're talking about the things that God can do, the time just slips away
I
because
know.
so many different things. It's so many things He can do that we can't.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Yinka, for all
Thanks for
that you
always
do.
having me.
Yes, you are a blessing to me as well as all the people that you touch. So thank you so much.
Thank you too. And we thank God.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.